teams in the tournament, especially when they play like the day after they play. You know, they'll take 2 days off and play again in the first 2 rounds, and then they'll get a week and then they'll play 2 quick games. People say, "Oh, they're tired." Ladies and gentlemen, listeners, viewers, Joe and I have played high school basketball, grade school basketball. You play every day for a long period of time leading up to the season. You're playing basketball for at least 3 hours a day, at least. And then you have games, but you're still practicing. You play basketball all year. And then people do travel teams and etc. If you get to the Final Four, you're probably a very good basketball player, which means you played basketball like that was your sport. You did basketball all the time. So you're playing it all year round. For people to say that teams are fatigued, like, you know, you're going to get a little bit tired if you have nagging injuries or something. But in some leagues, you play 6-7 games in 2 days in a tournament. You go to Vegas and play 12 games in 3 days. People do this all the time. It's nothing new. They practice all the time in college, and then they play these tournament games, and people think, oh, they can't possibly play these quick of games. They need weeks to rest. They don't. At all. Kentucky is, or Kansas, no. None of them. UConn won 5 straight games in the Big East in, 12 days? And everybody's like, they've won. How do they do it? They're athletes. This is what they do. This is what they're going to do in the NBA. You think people in the NBA don't get tired where they go on 12-game stretches and play in 12 games in 20 days? Or in Major League Baseball where they play sometimes 12 straight games and don't think they get tired? They're athletes. This is what they do.
True.
College athletes, you're a step closer to professional sports. They're in pretty good shape. So when people say that they lost because of fatigue, and we'll get into how Butler must have lost their legs in the game that they played in the championship. Spoiler alert! I don't think so. That's just me. What do I know? Not much.
I agree with you. You really do play a lot. Used to play a lot, and, you know, coaches used to say, practices are harder than the games.
That's a lie.
That is a lie. It's from time to time, depending on what the game is. But I don't know. That's tough to say. If fatigue plays a factor, it obviously didn't for UConn. I mean, let's just throw it out there. Everyone knows who won. Hopefully, I'm hopeful.
Ooh.
Here I am on camera 1. See, UConn went 5 straight days, won the Big East tournament. Then they went into the tournament and won the tournament. That's the NCAA tournament. So, I mean, obviously fatigue didn't play a factor for this. And, you know, the teams, they just get on a roll. They just get on a roll. I don't know what's going on.
They wanted me to move my arm out of the shot, so I thought I'd move it the other way.
That's funny.
Instead.
That's funny. All right.
For all you listening, sorry that you don't know what's happening.
You see, the good part, there are advantages to playing every day as well. It's not just fatigue. You get on a roll as a basketball team, and you see this. You see this throughout. I mean, even when in the playoffs, there'll be a team that'll sweep their opponent on one side, and on the other side it'll go to like a 7-game series. Well, more often than not, that team that came out of the 7-game series is going to beat the team that got all the rest because they're just on a roll. They're used to playing. And these teams that are sitting down aren't used to playing as frequently as the team that was just in a 7-game series. I mean, you see this happen. It happens. It's really all more so about when you get on a roll, getting hot at the right time, clicking at the right time, more so than fatigue itself. I mean, you see this in even the baseball playoffs all the time. You've got, these wild card teams. Wow, I was there for a while. Now we're back on 2. So you have these wild card teams that they catch fire at the end of the season, and they'll end up winning the World Series. It's just a matter of when your team clicks, mostly. And that is why UConn won. I mean, I agree with you. If they're fatigued, there's something wrong with the training, with the preparation. There's something wrong with the conditioning if they're fatigued. That's all I have to say. They shouldn't be fatigued. I agree with you.
And again, too, like in overtime, for example, a lot of times teams lose their legs. That I could kind of see because you're trained, you've been playing for a certain amount of years. You're kind of trained to go 40 minutes, and you don't expect to have to go more. So in the last couple minutes, you might be going all out because you think this is it. Mm-hmm. There's not going to be any more time. I'm done in 2 minutes. And then when a team goes into overtime, or 6 overtimes, shout out, UConn and Syracuse.
Yep.
Teams obviously lose their legs while shooting, and that's understandable. But to just be tired going into a game, especially after a couple days rest, unless you have a really nagging injury, and that doesn't make you tired. It just makes you're hurt. You don't have time to recover your injury. I don't think that's any excuse to make for losing a game. That's just me.
No, yeah, absolutely. And another thing, and I don't know if you felt this while you played, but especially on such a big stage as the Final Four, the NCAA tournament alone, I mean, the adrenaline has to be pumping. And adrenaline always helped. There were just times where I would be on the floor and I just wouldn't feel tired even after, it'd be fourth quarter, it'd be going down the wire, and I wouldn't be tired at all because I just had that adrenaline and all that just pumping. So I don't see at that point the adrenaline should be pumping for them on that big of a stage.
It's unfortunate afterward, though.
Oh yeah, you feel like crap. Yeah. Exactly. Like you ever have an injury and you just don't realize it, and then you get out of the game and just yeah. I just broke my ankle in the second quarter, I guess. Jeez.
Yeah, that usually happens the morning after. You just wake up and I can't move my arms.
Exactly.
What? Will I ever walk again? I have a game.
So basically,
there's that.
That's what I'm saying. So I would agree that there shouldn't be a fatigue. If there is fatigue, there's a problem with the conditioning itself. These players should be able to play often enough.
And you practice how you play.
There you go.
I never believed that at all. I still don't.
Throw out some more cliches.
Yeah, that's a terrible phrase. If you're a coach out there, never tell your kids, well, you're loafing around in practice. That's how you play. That's not true at all. It is for some people, but most of the time, if you don't dive for a loose ball in practice, it's because A, it's practice, and B, I'm not diving and breaking my leg in practice.
What you talking about? Practice?
I'll do it in a game. In a game.
But practice?
Nah.
How am I supposed to help my teammates by practicing?
Hey, isn't that in a YouTube video with Allen Iverson in a press conference?
It is. It is.
We didn't even, So there's that. Anyway, getting back to the actual games. VCU and Butler. I didn't really care who won.
I want Butler to win. I was rooting for Butler.
I did, but if VCU won, I wouldn't be heartbroken.
I would have been annoyed.
Yeah, you don't like VCU?
I don't like VCU because they knocked out Duke in 2007, in the first round. So I hold a grudge. Not the grudge, but I hold a grudge.
I hear you.
Yeah.
I remember when they did that.
So that was, yeah.
Well, their coach did the tough man drill before the game. He did it pretty well.
He did.
He did it better than I could have ever done it.
Yeah, that was intense.
That's a terrible
really
drill.
intense. Yeah, I know.
Basically, you take an offensive foul, then sprint. You take an offensive foul on the right side of the basket, then you sprint to the opposite out-of-bounds line and dive to save a ball going out of bounds. Then you sprint to the other side of the court and again jump and save a ball from going out of bounds, and then your teammates clap around you and scream. It's pretty painful. It'd be pretty tiring.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, that would be. Absolutely.
So Butler wins.
Butler wins. Ugly. But they did come out on top. And they deserved to win. They were in control at the end. I really thought that they were going to win. And they did come out on top over VCU. Their run ends, but the other Cinderella advances.
The magic just kind of ended for VCU, and they just got cold eventually. Really no other way to describe it. They just didn't play well.
Yeah, I mean, that's the thing. Like we'd get into like these fantastic plays that happened, or like, you know, all that stuff, anything interesting. To be honest, the game just wasn't interesting. And that was really a theme for this Final Four, really, as a whole, and the championship game. I mean, Butler VCU, if that were on TV in the regular season, are you watching it? No.
Is it on TV? Probably
Yeah,
not.
probably not on
Maybe
TV.
like ESPN 3 or the Ocho, if you're a fan of dodgeball.
So, yeah, I mean, the game went just how it sounded. Actually, Butler VCU, you're not watching that game. And it went that way. It was ugly basketball. Absolutely ugly.
I mean, it's kind of a letdown. I mean, you had these teams in the tournament upsetting these number 1, number 2 seeds. This game, even if VCU won, it's still not really an upset.
Right.
You beat Butler.
Yeah.
There was no, knocking out the big powerhouse team. It would come eventually, but it didn't. But yeah, Butler won.
And maybe that's why.
Yeah.
Maybe that's why it was a boring game. I mean, they weren't going after this team. I mean, I'm sure both of these teams coming into it were like, we are capable of winning this game. I mean, not that they don't have that mindset, but as a player, you go into games. I mean, you know whether you have a great chance of winning or a great chance of losing.
Yes.
Either way, you're a realist going in. You're not like, oh, we're definitely gonna beat Duke, or some like team, and you're like a Division III school. Like you're not like, oh, we're definitely gonna win without a doubt. If you really think that, like that's just not reasonable. So, I mean, both of these teams, I'm sure. I mean, they saw it. And I'm sure they were very happy that they were facing, each other.
Oh, yeah.
Like, I wouldn't want to, like, if I were Butler, I wouldn't have wanted, like, Louisville or Kansas or Notre Dame to come out. I mean, VCU is the team I'd
Probably
want.
the best you could ask for.
Yeah.
When the tournament starts. Who would we like to play? How about VCU?
Play-in game? What? Are they even going to get in?
Whoever wins the play-in game. They couldn't even get in.
So yeah, it's like I'm sure that was in the minds, that was in the mindset. So maybe that played a role. They weren't playing the high caliber teams, so maybe they just played down to each other's level. I mean, I'll give Butler a ton of credit for making it back every year, but like everyone knows, Butler really isn't that good.
No, they're really not.
They're really not, and it's absolutely remarkable that they made it back twice. I mean,
like nothing.
Yeah,
like
exactly.
This was what they just do.
Yeah, right. I mean, the last year they had Gordon Hayward, which was big for them, but this year they had nobody. But the thing is, they could have been knocked out in the first round against Old Dominion,
and no one would have batted an eye.
Yeah. So it's
The reason why we picked them in the first round is because they had gotten to the championship
Right.
years before. It was like, yeah,
so
go
we'll
Butler.
give them a game.
Yeah, we'll give them a
Like-
game just because of what they've done in the past. But other than that, not going to look good.
Yeah. So I mean, they could have been out just as easily, but they advance. But they're not. They're a scrappy team, and they just know how to win. They stick in there. You know, they stay in the game, and you know that's the kind of team they are. They're not going to beat you on talent.
I mean, yeah, we're not saying that they don't have good players.
Right.
I mean, you get into the NCAA championship, you always have great
You
players.
have
but
players.
overall, there were a lot better teams than Butler was.
Right.
A lot, you know, on paper, better coaches who have gone through the ranks for 30-plus years and have these immaculate resumes, whereas Butler's coach just got to the championship last year. Youngest coach to ever do it. That's his resume thus far. Same thing for whatever that guy's name is. Corey, coach for VCU.
Coach of VCU, Shaka Smart.
Shaka Smart. Yes.
There you go.
He just signed an 8-year deal to continue coaching at VCU. If you bring a program that no one knows about to the championship, you'll be there for life.
You'll be good. Yep.
You just always know it's coming. All right. We'll go to a break, and we'll come back and talk about Kentucky, Kansas, and we'll discuss the perhaps worst national championship game in sports. If you want to shoot us a quick text message while I tinker with the internet while we're away, the number is 570-212-9877. Feel free to comment on anything we've discussed or will be discussing or should discuss. Unless it's Wednesday, do not text us. We're not here. So let us know. We need to talk about anything. Maybe you hate our show. How do we fix it? Anyway,
Tell us.
we'll be back. More NCAA basketball, 99.5 Degrees South Scranton, and the Royal Television Network. Stay tuned.
Even have a cell phone.
Millions of kids are using their energy wisely. What's your excuse?
Hey guys, this is my teenage friend Rachel. She's cool.
Hey. Hey, could you watch the road?
Hey, could you watch the road?
Okay. All right, well, if we die in a car crash, I want to donate my eyes to my neighbor Gary. He has a boat, and he sails all around the world. I would love to see that. I don't know if he actually needs eyes, but who would turn on a free pair of eyes, right? Who's that rich?
You believe this guy? Are you trying to start a wildfire?
Sorry.
Pass the honey?
9 out of 10 wildfires are caused by humans.
Only you can prevent wildfires.
哦，先生你好，歡迎光臨，等等先。誒，唔該晒。Brandon.
Hello, we're back here on the John and Joe Sports Show. I'm John.
And I'm Joe.
Put us together, and what do you get? Bippity boppity boo.
That's right.
We were actually the originators of that tune, and it was because of us they wrote it. Bet you didn't know that.
Bibbidi bobbidi boo.
That was the original version as well. Thankfully, they redid it, so it would be pleasant to the ear. Anyway, quick update of what's going on here. We're on the radio now if it's Tuesday until 8 o'clock. If it is not, you may be watching us on Channel 21 on Comcast Wednesday at 9 o'clock. Now it would be like 6-something.
Yeah, I don't even. Yeah, it'd be
9. It'd be like
something.
9-something. Yes.
I was off because I remember watching last week and I was,
Yeah, we were off.
I was
We're
like,
like,
I'm like, it's 9:36 and it was like 9:20.
Yeah, because
I was like, I didn't take
it
that
started right at the hour, and we usually come in 10 minutes after.
To the left,
so
yeah.
let's do some math. It's like 9:24.
9:24.
No? All right.
It might be.
Anyway, text line 212-9877, area code 570 for all of you that actually went to the national championship game. So, Kansas and Kentucky, powerhouses. Why do I keep saying Kansas? UConn and Kentucky.
Yeah, I don't know why.
I just wanted Kansas to win so bad. So bad!
Apparently, yeah.
And I can't let it go. UConn! And UConn and Kentucky played together in a game, which was definitely more interesting than the VCU Butler game, but still a crappy game nonetheless.
Lackluster.
Yes. Filibuster. What else?
I would rather watch a filibuster than maybe not.
I would've
Filibusters
loved-
last
Yeah.
long time.
They do.
That's
They can.
That's the point.
That's the point of them. Just keep talking. Our show is like a filibuster.
That's
2
true.
hours of why won't they shut up? Play a song or something. My God. But yeah, the game.
Yeah, it was like a. I mean, it was close. That's the thing about these games. Like the Butler VCU game was close. It doesn't mean it was good. It was just close.
The difference between a close game being like down to the wire and then just a close game because both teams are awful.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that was it.
That's what we faced.
Yeah, I mean, in UConn Kentucky game, you had Brandon Knight. Brandon Knight? Brandon?
Yeah, the Dark Knight.
Brandon Knight.
Spelled Knighthc.
There, very good. He just wasn't, performing like their best player.
Wasn't dark enough.
That was it. He was short. He was short on a lot. I mean, especially in the second half, it looked like he just lost his legs or something. But he was off.
Must have been tired.
Must have been fatigued.
Fatigued.
I don't even know.
He was short on like driving to the basket, one-legged runners in the lane, which you're usually long on because it's hard to put the loft on it. He was short on all of them. Just throw it.
Yeah, it's got a little longer. But yeah, it was another ugly game. I mean, compared to what was to come, it was fantastic. But I mean, it came down to the wire.
That's true.
Yeah, I know, right?
So bad.
And once again, John, our favorite thing happened at the end. Can you guess what it was?
Gus Johnson wasn't announcing.
Let's talk about that.
Later.
All right, fine. Right now we're on the game.
Threes.
That annoys me.
The magic number. Threes.
Threes. What?
If I was going to go to a casino, I would bet 3 all during this tournament.
Absolutely. That's what it was. It was a lot of chucking threes, and it was the same in the VCU Butler game. I mean, there were just no like they weren't playing basketball. They weren't like looking to get good shots. It was really annoying, especially as a basketball player, a former basketball player.
Yeah.
Like it's just like, just pathetic to look at. Like, don't just like dribble at the top of the key, do like a weave, and then just shoot a three when the shot clock's running. That's not basketball. Drive, kick, get it down low. Like make these basketball moves. There's more to the game than 3-pointers.
I disagree.
You do?
Completely. I think that the post game should be taken out of basketball. I think the
They have.
introduction of the three-point line was one of the worst mistakes the NBA could have possibly made. And games up to 50, 60 points would be a lot more exciting than games to 120. I mean, bring Wilt Chamberlain back and Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, and they'll show you how to isolate themselves in the post and do a hook shot. They don't need three-pointers. They don't need Larry Bird, Paul Pierce, every Celtic to live, except for Shaq, who isn't really a Celtic.
That's true. That's true.
You could tell he doesn't even want to be on their team anymore. He plays 6 minutes and he's out.
Yeah.
Done. I'm not doing it anymore. Yeah, the threes are bad, which we'll talk about as well after the wrap-up of the tournament someday.
Yeah, we could,
hopefully within the hour we'll get this out of our system.
Sorry, I've had a lot to go on.
This is good, though, because this is it for sports. Once this is over, we're done for excitement.
Pretty much.
The NBA is going to be the same old story with who's going to make the finals. Same with the World Series. The Phillies have already won. We're done watching.
We're done. Yeah. So
it's bad.
So yeah, where did we leave off? Right. So Kentucky's down 2.
Points.
So yeah, points. So what do they try to do? Instead of tying the game, you know, going inside, they chuck up a 25-footer. I'll say that. I'll give an estimate. It was behind the three-point line. It was a little behind it. Guy had a hand in his face. Doink. That's it.
A miss.
That's a miss.
Well, then, UConn got the rebound, and they could have done something else after the free throws, right? Did they kick it inside then?
No.
Oh.
The UConn had the game at hand once he missed that three. But the threes, I don't get it. Team's just not playing basketball.
I think it might have to do with the song One Shining Moment that they play at the end of the tournament. Isn't it a lot cooler for the people that have hit the game-winning threes that they get to celebrate after they shoot? One shining, and then they run around and celebrate. How cool is that when you're watching it at home because you lost because you shot too many threes and then the game after that? Awesome. So they went home. Kentucky's gotten to the Final Four with John Calipari like 4 or 5 times, 7 times, 30 times. He's been in the Final Four a lot, and he hasn't won. I think it's 3, if I want to guess.
Not with Kentucky.
Yeah, not in Kentucky, just in a whole.
He got there with Memphis. Yeah. He got there with Kentucky. He's been there. I don't know exactly how many.
Regardless, he can't win. Just like any team from Virginia can't win once they get to the Final Four. Sorry.
It's true. It is true.
The NCAA is still a little tiffed about the whole Civil War thing, like Virginia. They don't like it, so they don't let them win.
The thing with John Calipari is that he often gets these one-and-done players.
He's known for it.
Yeah, he's known for it. So that's basically what happens. I mean, his team is full. He has to get his team together to play as a team in 1 year, and that's all he's got. But that's just his style.
He likes it.
He likes it. And hey, he made it to the Final Four. I mean, I don't know. I don't know if I don't agree with that style.
What good is the water?
I don't know. I don't know, but yeah, bring up the water. Oh, come on.
Oh, we did it on purpose. This is all
on
purpose.
Yeah, we did it on purpose.
Everyone avert your eyes.
Do you want me to pass it down?
On radio, no one can see our producer's face. Because my goodness.
So, where were we?
Championship. We got there now.
Championship. We're on the championship.
Jim Calhoun. Jimmy. Oldest coach to win a championship. 68 years old.
Yep.
You got Brad Stevens, who's like 8.
Half. He's exactly half his age, 34.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
He's in there too. This game had potential. Some people picked Butler.
Yeah, it was me. I
Some
picked
of
Butler.
us. And
As well.
Going
We
into
went
the
we went
game-
down together, Corey. We
going
went
into-
down together.
we discussed this yesterday on the other sports show we do with a couple colleagues. We did a little, panel.
Mm-hmm.
Some of the things we mentioned was Butler couldn't forget about their big man, Howard. They had to get the ball into the post. They couldn't just rely on the three-point shot to win the game and panic. UConn had to put Butler away and not let them hang around, or they'd end up losing.
It's just funny because nothing happened. Like, you can't, like, it's not that Butler forgot about Matt Howard or, UConn put them away. It was like everything we said.
Everything we said either team should do, they all did it
wrong.
So there's not one team that, well, at least they did this. Mm-hmm. No one did anything.
Not at all. It was probably, I can't speak for, I don't know, I may have seen a horrible game before, but this is the worst college basketball game I've ever seen in my life. I can't, I'll say Division I, because I'm sure I've seen a Division III game that's just terrible, but Division I, college basketball game, had to be the worst game I've ever seen.
For it to be a championship game, you expect, these games happen. We all remember when Wisconsin and Penn State combined for a total of 71 points.
70.
Give or take. Depending on how quick my math is, we all know I'm a comm major, so that's not the best. Okay, that happens. 37-34. Ooh. But this is the championship game. You expect at least one team's going to come out and destroy the other team.
On the biggest stage.
Not to be the case. Because while they were on the biggest stage, they didn't show up. They didn't come to the theater. They were late. Still
Not
late.
at all. It was pitiful. The first half score was 22-19, Butler. 22-19. That's awful.
We scored more points in our intramural games in the first half.
It's true.
Which really doesn't say anything, but still. It's a championship game. 22-19. The final score could have been a halftime score.
Yeah. It's true. On a good night.
So Butler ends the half with a 3, and you think maybe the momentum will carry into the second half for Butler.
They came out and hit the first 3.
The only thing they were carrying was a cross.
All right.
I'm getting back into it now.
Got it. Well, yeah, it really...
They did hit a 3, and then...
They hit a 3. It was 25-19.
I think they thought they had won, and
that was it. Yeah, the UConn went on a 20-3 run.
I want to say they didn't score after that 3 for the next 14 minutes, and I'm not lying to you. I'm pretty sure there was a stretch where they did not score a basket for 14 minutes.
It was a very long time.
14 minutes?
It was bad. They had 0 points in the paint. They ended up getting 2, I believe, for the game on a putback layup.
With around 6 minutes to go, I think they might have shown the statistic of how many points in the paint Butler had at the time, which was 0.
0. I don't know how you have no points in the paint. And it's not like they weren't getting the looks. Just seeing those layups, just like brick.
By boring brick.
Yes. Here we go. Oh, I love it. I love it. I mean, the one where they had the fast break and the guy was underneath the basket and he just kept spinning. Then when he went to shoot, I don't think he knew where the basket was, and he just completely missed. It was bad. Howard was missing down low.
Howard is their best post player, and he did nothing.
Yeah, nothing. It was just horrid, and you know, UConn started to step it up like a little bit.
A little bit.
It's not like
it really
they
was
went
nothing.
off.
Yeah.
They didn't go off.
Against a better team, you would have just been like, well, they're at least trying.
It's like, yeah, I mean, Kemba Walker did some stuff. I think the player who played best was Alex Anuahu, something. The big guy on UConn, Alex Anuaku.
Anuaku.
Is it? Anuaku.
I remember that
okay.
because he was in the last shot of the One Shining Moment video, and I was like, Anuaku? There he is.
There we go.
He had 11 points, 11 rebounds.
11 points, 11 rebounds, 4 blocks. So he had a nice little game for himself. It's not like he went off for 30, 15, and 7. So it wasn't like an incredible
11,
game.
11, 4. Awesome.
So, I mean, just a bad game. It was the worst I've ever seen. Ends 53-41.
Butler's field goal percentage for the evening was 18.8%.
The worst in NCAA finals history?
Ever.
Is it tournament? Is it just ever?
It seems that way. 18.8.
It was bad.
I mean, I won't throw it as far as ever, but come on.
It was bad. I mean, you usually, when you're watching a game, at least when I'm watching a game, like I'm thinking, not like most of the time, but like I'll see a shot, and I'll be like, looks good, you know, like you think it's gonna go in, you know, if they get the nice ball movement and stuff, and you know it all just looks good. It's like, oh, he's got it.
Boom.
Like, yeah.
You just kind of know, and they know too.
Yeah.
You know if it's going in.
It just got to a point where, like, I just couldn't. I just thought that Butler was going to miss every time. I was just like, I didn't have an answer. I'm just like, I think you just have to stop shooting. This is just bad.
The bad part is they did miss every time.
They just missed every time. Like,
it
that was my
seemed,
thought. It was just like, miss.
It seemed like they were shooting to hit the back iron rather
That's
than
very true.
hit the basket. There were more shots after the back iron than I think I've ever seen.
Yeah,
in a basketball game.
I agree. That's exactly what kept happening.
Same guy would come down, same spot, pull up, and hit the back iron. 3 straight possessions. Figure it out. Like, you know, the good thing about playing a long game, like I know you felt this too, if you shoot and you miss a certain way, you make the adjustment the next time down.
Right.
You don't keep hitting the back iron. Stop it. Do something different now.
I've never had less confidence in a team just watching any team. I've never had less confidence. I mean, it was bad. Going up, just everything was missing. They couldn't buy a basket, and you know UConn kept blocking shots too. Like it just looked like a team that was completely outmatched. I mean, like UConn was clearly the better team. 'Cause they didn't even play well.
What's unfortunate?
They ended up winning by double digits.
Yeah, the unfortunate thing is if Butler played a little above average, if they played like they did in the tournament, they would have won because UConn played like garbage.
They did.
If Butler was ever to beat UConn, last night would have been the perfect opportunity. They basically gave them the game. They had nothing. And Butler played worse.
Yeah, basically Butler just played the worst they could have possibly played. They couldn't have played any worse. One of the worst.
Good job, UConn.
Yeah, so way to go. Beating a team. I mean, like UConn was like Samson with his hair, basically. To them, that's just what it looked like. That's just what it looked like out there, and UConn didn't have to put much into it. They just had to play a little better. They just had to shoot better than 18.8%, which they did. It was just bad. I don't know what else to say.
Butler was not good.
Yeah, like I can't even like pick out like these great performances or anything like at great moments.
Butler was a lot like Ramses II. Ample amounts of opportunities to change your bad ways, except he did not, thus causing Butler's firstborn children to be killed. Unfortunately.
Oh, this is good.
Well, you said let's have a Bible reference show.
That's what I said. I said Samson.
Yeah, we had Samson.
So
we'll keep going.
We
with
are
this,
rolling.
but at least it gives the viewers and/or listeners.
Absolutely.
You know what I'm talking about.
Absolutely.
You know what it is.
You know what it is.
So UConn wins. First time since like
04.
04.
When they had Emeka Okafor. Who
you may remember him in the NBA.
Yeah, he is tearing through the NBA. 7 All-Star appearances.
Made that shot the other night.
3 championships.
Yeah. He's Kobe Bryant now.
He is Kobe Bryant.
Little switcheroo.
Yep. Emeka Okafor, Ben Gordon.
They had a real nasty team.
They had a great team.
Future for Jim Calhoun, he'll be back.
You think he'll be back?
I think he'll be back. I don't think he has any reason to retire. I think, well, he does, obviously, but I think that he'll come back for at least another year, depending on how next year goes and how the freshmen, like, no one knows who's going to the NBA draft. No one knows if there'll be an NBA draft, if they'll go on a lockout as well. Might as well just lock out every sport, and we'll just play recreational games for the rest of a couple of years.
They'll get replacements. We'll get to play.
Exactly.
Great.
I'm first in line at Duke.
Nice.
For the bench, like the first guy in the bench. So it's not bad. It's not terrible. It's something.
Yeah, I don't think the NBA has like the pop that the NFL has to be able to lock out. You don't have the same fan base to like if the NBA locks out, I think people would just be like, okay.
Kind of like when hockey did and no one even noticed.
Yeah. The NBA, like, I could be like, I don't think I'm off, but it's really not that popular.
Yeah, it wouldn't be as effective as if the NFL locks out. People are probably going to end their lives.
Right.
No lie.
I think like the NBA is like 6th or something among major sports in fan bases like football, baseball, even like NASCAR is ahead of them or something.
Yeah.
I could be wrong, but I think I think I'm right, but I could be wrong.
We're always right, John.
We're always right, yeah. So I'm right.
We're like Solomon. We're never wrong.
I'd ask Statboy. What do you think? NBA fan base, they're like 6th, right? Have you ever read up on that?
I don't think they're that far.
You don't think they're that far down?
I think they're in the top 3.
In the top 3, really? NBA?
There's football's first.
Then baseball.
Either baseball or basketball.
Okay.
And whoever's out of that. And maybe NHL.
Okay.
Maybe
Statboy thinks I'm wrong,
They might
so
be 3rd.
I could be very wrong. So
I
he's
used to always
usually right.
think they were 3rd. I thought it was football, baseball, basketball. Insert random sport here for 4th.
Gotcha.
But we'll have to find out.
We'll have to look it up.
Anyway, we're going to go to a break. We'll come back and address some of the issues with the tournament, and then we'll get into some basketball, some baseball, and other things.
And other things as well.
I don't know what those things will be. Perhaps we'll read Bible passages for your enjoyment. You listen to 99.5 WUSR Scranton and watching us on the Royal Television Network. We will return. Do not worry.
Jeez.
It's quick.
好，先生你好，歡迎光臨，等等先。誒，唔該晒。
Brandon.
Hey guys, this is my teenage friend Rachel. She's cool.
Hey. Hey, could you watch the road?
Hey, could you watch the road?
Okay. All right, well, if we die in a car crash, I want to donate my eyes to my neighbor Gary. He has a boat, and he sails all around the world. I would love to see that. I don't know if he actually needs eyes, but who would turn on a free pair of eyes, right? Who's that rich?
You believe this guy?
Are you trying to start a wildfire?
Sorry. Pass the honey?
9 out of 10 wildfires are caused by humans.
Only you can prevent wildfires.
And we're back
And we're
here
back.
in the John and Joe Sports Show, 99.5 WSR Scranton and the Royal Television Network, where the fun never stops.
Fun never stops.
Unless Marywood is on, because, you know, the station switches.
Yeah. The college up that way, behind us.
Yep, right
Oh,
in the blue.
A bit ways.
You
Yeah.
just pull the curtains. There they
They're
are.
right behind us.
Yeah, we're real close. For that clarification, if you'd like to watch the show, if you're listening right now on Tuesday, turn us on Wednesday night starting at 9 on Channel 21, the local college network channel if you have Comcast cable. If you're watching us already and I just said that, sorry, you're already here. Nice. This internet is killing me.
I know, right?
I don't know what's going on.
I don't either. It's unfortunate.
So, what were we going to... Oh, yeah. So we're back to the NCAA tournament. They've won. Great, grand, wonderful.
One shining moment.
On a plus side, Luther Vandross was back last night to sing the final song. Thank God, because last year it was garbage. And we were actually still watching because Duke had just won.
Yeah.
We were blowing off our logical and rhetorical analysis paper to cheer Duke.
That happened again this year. The logical and rhetorical analysis paper was due.
It's due today, I know.
Today, like
Professor Strain must not like college basketball.
Hate college basketball.
Because he is out to get college basketball fans.
Seriously. Like, that's terrible. But anyway.
Yeah, Luther Vandross, thank God. I like when he does the song. I always have. They do a good job with the... I just don't know the random cheerleaders that are always in the montage. How do they pick who gets to be the cheerleaders for the One Shining Moment song? Because there's at least, 20, 25 cheerleaders on each team in the tournament. How do you pick 2?
I'm sure they just get the random clips, see if they just roll with it. The ball is tipped. I don't really know it.
You're running for your life! And they show someone running. It's great. Well, we'd play it for you, but we're not in the studio.
No.
So there's that. There's also one of the things I would rather see as far as the pros of this year's tournament was definitely that every game was on TV. And I know how people have said, well, they've always been on. If you don't have a dish like I do, you're not going to see all the games because I have basic cable. And a lot of people have basic cable. So basically you would have CBS showing insert game here, and then game B would be coming down to the wire, 18 seconds, the number 1 seed's about to get beaten, and the team you want to see, they're like, up, and we'll be back to such and such, and they'll switch over. But the problem was always there'd be 2 games that would both be close, and which one do you pick?
Right.
A lot of times you wouldn't even see the game you wanted to because they just couldn't show it. Like the 1 seed playing the 16 seed, they'd go for you'd see 2 minutes of the game. They'd go for a quick, up by 30, gone.
Yeah.
Okay. Now this year though, you were literally able to see every game played, which I thought was good. And I thought it was good too that at the top of the screen, they showed you where every game was. You'd be like, oh, TBS. You wouldn't have to be like, where is True TV on the television? I don't even know if it's a channel. What is True TV? Shout out to True TV as well, because no one will watch you again until March. They're done. They're going to the back burner. But the problem I kind of had was with the announcing / analysts. For one, they didn't call myself or Joe to help analyze the after-game,
that's an issue,
post-game interviews, which I thought we should have been front runners for, having 2 SBs, et cetera, et cetera. Where are we?
Where are we?
That's fine. We had things. I get it. We charge a lot of money, and some people don't want to pay that. It's fine.
Well, they should.
We'll just have to. We'll get there.
We'll get there. Yep.
Now that they could watch this on TV, we'll be up there before you know it.
That's true. That's true.
Okay. But having normally NBA analysts, such as Charles Barkley and Kevin Smith and all those other guys that usually do the TNT games, that announce the NBA games, like Marv Albert and Steve Kerr were announcing one game, which is fine. I mean, Marv Albert's voice is like Morgan Freeman's is to movies in sports. But they're not normally college basketball announcers. So you have guys like Charles Barkley throwing his 2 cents in after a game, and he doesn't know about the guys on the team. He doesn't know the players or the coaches, and he's throwing these statements out, and you're just like, wait, what? Who? Why?
Yeah.
And Charles Barkley knows the game. He played. He's very knowledgeable of the sport. But he's an NBA analyst. He probably didn't know who 3/4 of the players were in the league until he had to, and he just mentioned in last night's game that this year was the first Final Four he's ever been to in his life.
That's true.
And you're analyzing these games?
Yeah. Yep.
That's the only problem. And also the announcers, some of the best announcers we have come early in the tournament, but don't come late, like Bill Rafferty. Onions! He announced in, I believe, the 2nd or 3rd round. Gus Johnson. Guys like that should be in the booth for the most important games. You get commentary from Dick Vitale and Bobby Knight, but they're sitting in, like, their house after the game on ESPN Special. Why aren't they in the booth?
Yeah.
Why are the best college announcers you have either at their house doing phone interviews or not even there at all? Get them into the big games. They should at least be in the Final Four and the championship.
Right. I completely agree with everything you said. Let's go back to the TV. Having all the games on was beautiful. It was absolutely beautiful, being able to choose whatever game you wanted to watch, and it would be on. Much to the dismay of some people who don't like college basketball.
Yeah.
I kept hearing about it. Just going around. Go to TBS, and there's basketball on. I'm just like, it's beautiful, isn't it?
My parents are not happy about
My phone fell.
A meteor came. They would rather watch such popular soaps as Young and Restless and etc. Won't name names in my household of who actually is the one that watches said soaps. But a lot of people don't like the fact that there's basketball on all day.
No.
Deal with it.
Seriously, deal with it for a few weeks.
A month. That's all.
It's not like it's every day. It takes up most of the week. You know, it does take up 4 days in a week for the first two rounds. I mean the first 4 rounds until you get to the final 4, and then you're done. But yeah, just stick with it. I mean, it's really, yeah, it's not even like the first. It's just the first week really where all these games are on. Then they're kind of spread out a little bit, and you know it gets better. So just deal with it for a week. That's it. It's not a big deal. Let us college basketball people, there's a lot of us, be happy for all that. And you know, if you're friends with anybody who loves college basketball, they'll be happy that night when you hang out with them. It'll be better. It'll be better. So yes, there I agree with you completely. That was fantastic. Now I'll move on to your next point. NBA analysts. I completely agree again. Why? Why are they there? Like it's not even like the analysis itself. It's just hearing them. It's like, why are you there? Like it's just something like it gets in your head. It's just like, why is Charles Barkley telling me stuff about college basketball? Where's Jay Billis? Where are all these college basketball people that I know and I'm just accustomed to? So I'll just start there with the simply being accustomed to certain analysts and announcers. And don't even get me started on Gus Johnson. The Final Four and the finals, and there's no Gus Johnson. That is a sin. That is a sin.
An original sin.
An original sin. Yes. I was thinking original sin. I was trying to think of something.
That worked. That's a good one.
That is horrible. I was shocked. I was certain that he would be in all those games. And then I was just like, well, he's definitely going to be doing the finals. No. It was Pun City.
Yep.
Not heartbreak.
I mean, Gus Johnson isn't like the best announcer there is.
No.
But he just brings a life to the game that you can't get anywhere else.
Exactly.
He knows this, and everyone else knows this. He's entertaining, and he's likable, and he's outlandish, and you're just like, what is he doing? But you love it.
Yeah.
He gets so into the games, unlike Joe Buck. You heartless fool.
I'm completely with you. I mean, you had like what, Clark Kellogg and like whoever. I was just like, I'm just listening to it. I'm just like, no. I mean, and they just kept throwing out puns. There was like more puns in the national championship game than there are in James Bond movies. I couldn't like. It was horrible. I'm just listening to it. I'm just like, I can't take this anymore. If I had to hear any more dog puns, I was going to turn off the TV because I couldn't think of anything else.
Yeah. Or
flood the earth. 40 days and 40 nights.
And don't include the dogs in your survival
don't include the dogs.
List.
Like, seriously. And the Huskies are top dog. Stop.
Yeah,
please.
You're right. That was the last call because I was getting excited. What are they going to do? Last year we'll always remember, it almost went in. Pause. It almost went in. Who won? Okay. The Huskies are the top dog of the NCAA. That's the best you could do. You know you're announcing the game, I'm assuming several days in advance. You got to be thinking about what you're going to say in the last line. It's a big last line.
Yeah.
That's what you came up with. Mm-hmm. They're top dog in the NCAA?
Yeah. That's right. Crap. Absolutely. Oh my gosh! Like, and who will win the battle of the dogs? Like I'm for Eddie Reed. Like I just didn't like that they made the finals just because of their nicknames. I couldn't take it. I couldn't take it anymore. Like, oh, it was so bad. I didn't like the announcement. I was very upset that Gus Johnson didn't do it because you're right. He brings an energy to the game and you know he is not the best, but he'll go out on his little he'll do his little catchphrases that people have become accustomed to. Yes, just that. It adds to it. I can't explain it. You just have to listen to it, and then you'll just know. YouTube him. Soundboard.
And again, he, along with Dick Vitale is so annoying after the first half, and that's being generous. If you have to listen to Dick, he just, especially if your team is losing, like you're angry that your team is having a bad game and you're losing, and he's going with his PTPs and amazings and you want to just shake him. Stop.
Yeah.
But he's one of the best announcers in the game, along with Bill Rafferty. He just yells random things during the game. Onions, what the hell does that mean? Onions, what are you talking about? But everyone knows it. Send it in, Jerome! That was said like 20 years ago, and he still says it now. With a kiss! And he says it like that. I'm not making... With a kiss! Onions! Ah! You look forward to things like that. You either make fun of them for it, or you talk about it. There's nothing memorable about last night's announcers. Joe and I didn't like sit down and have dinner and be like, yeah, I remember when he said, no, it's, wow, that was a terrible final call, wasn't it? They're the top dogs of the NCAA.
Yeah.
That's a big gripe. I could understand early on that they needed the NBA analysts because you got a ton of games going on at once. If you need to have a big crew, and that's what I thought they were going to do. I'm like, okay, you know, they'll have this crew that does the TNT stuff do it because the game's on TNT. That's understandable. But when the Sweet 16 comes and they don't need these people anymore, especially in the Final Four and championship, get rid of them.
Right.
Bring in the college guys. This is when they should be there. You should have Dick Vitale, Bobby Knight, sit them all down. Digger Phelps. They should all be there. And they are, but they're at ESPN studios in like an underground tomb. You can't see them. It's frightening.
It is. I agree.
Where are they?
Where are they?
Bring them out.
I agree.
That's it. I agree with you completely. You're just like, why is Charles Barkley on my college basketball game, and he's not ripping Kenny Smith apart for whatever he said about insert random NBA team here?
Absolutely. Absolutely. It was just wrong. I don't even know. Yeah, it was wrong. I have nothing else to add. It was wrong.
It's a learning experience, hopefully.
Mm-hmm.
But we'll see next year how many teams they add to the tournament.
Yeah. I'll tell you what. I mean, I don't know if you think it's going to make a difference, but the fact that a play-in team got to the Final Four, I really hope that does not change things.
Yeah, that's a problem because now they might be like, well, if they got in, anyone can get in.
Bingo. Equals expansion.
I really like
hope that doesn't happen.
How it used to be.
Yeah.
When you needed to win your conference in order to get into the NCAA tournament. That's in itself interesting enough because every game is like you're like a play-in team. You could get beat by a random team in your conference.
Right.
Look at the Big East. Who knows who would have came out of that if they could only pick one team. Same with every conference. Anyone could have caught out of it. That's really tough. And then you got to go play the NCAA tournament. That's intense. That's too easy. That's too hard. Let's make it easier for them. Let's just pick 5, 10, 15 teams from each conference, and they'll all get in.
Yep, exactly.
So in our April Fool's article that we were going to run, if it actually came out, the joke was going to be NCAA expands tournament to include all teams.
All teams.
Every division, 1, 2, and 3, every team makes the tournament. And there's no regular season. You just start playing the tournament from opening weekend. The tournament starts, and you just go from there.
Okay. Sweet. Thank
Cool.
you.
Thanks.
Thank you very much. Thank you. That was Nina.
We just had a phone conversation. People on the radio are like, who are they talking to?
Yeah.
So, there's that. Maybe they'll fix it, maybe they won't. I don't know.
No.
I'm like weary to see what they're going to screw up next year. But I thought this year was one of the best years definitely for viewing. And I guess I could stomach the NBA announcers doing games. I mean, a lot of them are now. I mean, hearing Marv Albert, you can't not want to hear his voice. You're just like, ooh.
Yeah.
But I was just like, is that Marv and Steve Kerr? Why? Why?
I'm with you, and I really hope they do not expand the tournament anymore. I don't know why they do it. I mean, you and I have voiced our opinions on this issue. We don't think it should have changed to begin with. It is fantastic with the 64 teams and whatever, the one play-in game. So, I mean, I really don't want it to expand past 68 now. Like, stop. Just stop. Like,
yeah, like
I can't imagine. I can't imagine.
We could stomach this. I mean, you get used to it. And I think VCU did its job in proving the case for it, but I hope they stop there and don't go, oh, we could do it again. No. Because then that'll be their argument at the meeting.
Yeah.
Well, why? Well, look at VCU.
You know, yeah,
okay.
Right. And maybe the answer there, I think you'll agree with me here, but I don't want to assume, start adding more of those teams instead of adding, like, 11 Big East teams.
Yeah.
Like stop like packing these conferences with at-large bids. If there are other teams that could win out there, give them a shot and limit your at-large bids in the conferences.
Agreed.
Like, that seems logical to me.
I mean, we're not saying that the Big East doesn't deserve to get more teams in the tournament, because they do have a lot of great programs, but 11 teams?
Mm-hmm.
And then they'll say, well, we're obviously the best conference because UConn won the championship. I think 5 at best, maybe, should be like the maximum to get into the conference.
Yeah, I agree.
Top 5.
Yeah, and you know, if they have that argument of, well, UConn won, we're obviously the best conference. Well, if you had the most teams out of any conference in the, you know, there's a greater opportunity. So, like, it's just, you know, so I really think that's what they should do. Like, limit the at-large bids to these conferences.
Because that makes it more interesting. And if it's a year of upsets like it was this year, you know, there could have been a ton more of these, what conference are they in, winning games. Because the beauty of the tournament is any team can win on any day.
Yeah.
And I would rather see upsets happen than have random teams win instead of, oh, look, the Big East is back.
Right.
We see that enough in every other sport where it's the same teams every year. We don't need to see it in the NCAA tournament.
I agree. I agree with you 100%. I mean, these...
It will be made law.
Made law. Man law.
We will walk up to Mount Sinai and receive the tablets after the show.
This is fantastic.
Hooray, Jesuits. And I have on a Latin shirt for our whatever random motto this means. For the greater glory of God. Yeah, great. On game day.
On game day. There we go.
Support. So there's that. So who you got next year? We got to pick teams now.
Pick 'em.
Who's going to win?
Northern Iowa.
No, they were 2 years ago.
No? All right. Well, let's see.
Well, you can tell you that Dick Vitale has North Carolina taking it home.
Of course.
Who's not shocked? All of us here. Oh. Anyway.
Yeah. So. This is fantastic. Our listeners are loving it right now.
Well, there's just dead air. Tune in tomorrow. It's starting at 9 o'clock. watch the show again, Channel 21 if you have Comcast cable, and figure out these faces we're making. You'll see.
You'll see. That'll be funny. Maybe.
I hope. That's probably not at all.
I know.
Why? I'm never watching this again. I'd rather watch just a blank screen. I'd rather watch their picture all night than watch them actually be people. It's a lost cause.
I know, right?
So,
it's okay.
I can't pick a team for next year. I don't know who's staying, who's going, who's leaving, who's staying.
You can't even, it's too hard with college basketball. The pre-rankings came out. UConn wasn't ranked.
No.
They won the national championship.
Michigan State was, I believe, 2.
Yes, Michigan State was 2.
They got knocked out in the 3rd round.
First?
Well, no, you got to keep in mind.
Oh, right. It was the second round.
Yeah,
Sorry.
I was going to say second, but
just, you really can't tell. It is very difficult with college basketball. It's difficult with any sport, but college is the worst. So, I mean.
The only thing we know going in is who's definitely graduating because they're seniors.
Right. Yeah.
And, the teams that made it this year, especially UConn, Kemba Walker's leaving, Jimmer Fredette's leaving, Nolan Smith's leaving, Kyle Singler's
leaving.
People leave. That's what's good about college sports is that it changes. So, interesting.
Yep, exactly.
And recruiting classes come in. Duke is shown to have the best recruiting class coming in. They have at least 3 people that I know of from watching the McDonald's All-American high school sports, whatever.
Yeah.
They have Doc Rivers' son, who's probably nastier than he was. They have another Plumlee brother, and they have somebody else. So they've got people. North Carolina always has an amazing recruiting class. Kentucky's going to get random freshmen.
Yeah.
Because they always do. It's going to be interesting. Dick Vitale.
Oh, good. Excellent.
Awesome, baby.
I mean, Duke does have a fantastic class from what I've seen. And there could be some really good years to come with the Duke-North Carolina rivalry. It kind of got back into form this season because North Carolina took the 1 game at home. Definitely a step up from last season when the difference in talent was just Duke was so much better than North Carolina team-wise. So it's definitely a lot better. There are some good years to come. I mean, you won't know what will happen with people leaving, so that may factor in. But as far as these recruiting classes, the rivalry will have a little bit more pep, I believe, for years to come.
Yeah, they lose pep at a time.
Yeah.
Especially when Hansbrough was in. North Carolina was nasty.
Oh, yeah.
And Duke couldn't match them at all. And the previous years before, Duke was nasty and North Carolina couldn't match. I mean, they put in a good fight, both teams. The game was still as impressive, but it's better when both teams are basically evenly matched.
Right, yeah, absolutely.
In my view.
Yeah, it's fun to watch and it helps the conference as a whole.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. So that's college basketball. I think that's it. It's over again until October?
Yeah, pretty much. So you won't hear anything unless something crazy happens. We'll tell you who's going to the NBA. If Kyrie Irving goes,
yeah, we'll let you know.
We'll let you know.
When the next recruitment violation happens for Jim Calhoun or John Calipari or any of the slew of coaches that get them, we'll let you know.
Yes. So, other than that, bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
College basketball. Goodbye.
For the professional basketball aspect, the New York Knicks are playoff bound. That's sad. They don't deserve to be playoff bound.
No.
Sorry, Knick fans.
I think Knick fans know that they don't deserve to be playoff bound. Mm-hmm.
I wish the Knicks were really good like they used to be. The Knicks used to be nasty.
Oh, yeah.
But Michael Jordan was playing.
That's true. That's an issue.
They had an amazing team, and then for a stretch of seasons, no one wanted to play in New York. The only people that looked forward to playing in the Garden were the visitors, who would drop 81 on them.
Right.
40, 60, 50. I actually played an exhibition game, 63 points in the Garden.
It's impressive.
It's
more than Kobe.
Lefty.
Lefty. Wow. Wow. That is impressive.
That was only the first half, too.
That's it?
Then I broke my left arm.
Oh.
And I didn't feel as though I should shoot with my right because it would be unfair.
Okay. All right, that makes sense. No, that's cool.
Yeah, I wouldn't want to. I was going to, like, beat Wilt the Stilt and all those people, but I didn't.
I understand.
Nothing's happening in the NBA. The only big development is that the Spurs are starting to fall like a rock.
Oh, like a rock.
And
upon this rock?
Upon this rock, a church will be built.
Yes, absolutely.
The Lakers are rising through the rankings like the Lord did when he ascended into heaven. Will they reach the top? We'll see. It's just really funny because you don't really hear about it, but it's happening quick. The Spurs are just losing all the time. The Lakers have only lost 2 games since the All-Star break.
Yeah, it's unfortunate this weekend, Sunday, the games that the Lakers just dread, and I don't blame them. Sunday afternoon games, like that's got to be difficult to play. I mean, they're home, but to play it at that time, like it starts at 3:30 or something, like that's 12:30 in Los Angeles time, and they're used to playing like 10:30 at night Eastern time. It's just so, it's such a difference. It's such a weird time to play. They just don't like them. They just don't like to play. That's my opinion. I believe they don't like to play them. So, I mean, it's a rough time. They lost. They went down to the Nuggets. It was a close game. But, you know, the Lakers fell the second time after the All-Star break.
Hopefully someone was there to wipe their face after they fell.
And carry the cross. This is just great.
Oh, this can't end.
I hope that there's a really devout Jesuit
who's ecstatic.
Watching, yes, loving it right now.
We're going to get requests next week, not for sports topics, but for sports quotes about, you know, quoting the Bible. You should talk about this.
Yeah.
Quote Genesis. Yeah, so the NBA, like, it's getting down to the end, to the wire. And it really doesn't even matter. There's, what, like 10 games left, give or take?
Yeah, about, like, I want to say, like, 5 to 7. Maybe like 7.
Then the playoffs.
Then the playoffs.
We'll have a full playoff preview here on the John and Joe Sports Show.
Yeah, I mean, right now, I don't think the Lakers are going to catch the Spurs. They had an opportunity when they pushed to a game and a half back, but now they're 2.5 back. It's going to be, I think it's going to be too difficult. They will face them, but I don't think they're really concerned. After the Nuggets game, Ron Artest was more concerned about that he didn't get his haircut before the game than he was about losing. So that was pretty funny. But I don't think the Lakers are going to catch the Spurs, which would put them in a first-round matchup with Portland, maybe? I don't know. But that's pretty much how things are going. I mean, the norm in the West, nothing's really changed. I mean, the Lakers took the 2 seed a little while ago, maybe a week or so ago, and in the East, you've got the Bulls really just taking over right now.
It's great.
Yep. But the Heat have moved into the 2nd seed. Boston has actually fallen to the 3 seed.
Dwayne Wade is slowly losing limbs, though. It seems he's always getting hurt.
That's an issue. That's an issue.
Anymore. I just don't see the Heat playing that well, and I don't think they're going to do much in the playoffs this year.
I agree. Right now it's set up the Heat would face the Knicks in the first round. So, I mean, I think the Heat get past that. Even though the Knicks have beaten the Heat, I think the Heat get past that, and that might be it. I mean, if they have to face the Celtics in the second round. I don't see them being the Celtics. I don't think the Celtics are as strong as they were last year, but I mean, the Heat have not shown success against these top teams. So I don't see it. I don't see the Heat making it. I'm loving the Bulls right now. It would be awesome if they got to the finals. This is one of these teams that didn't go out there to try to get a basketball monopoly. They just
at least not for the past like 12 years.
Right. Yeah, they didn't go out there to get these big three, or they didn't do these blockbuster trades. So they're just riding on, you know, a lot of. They're a very scrappy, hard-working team. At least that's what it looks like to me. And they're really getting it done. They're getting it done. I mean, they should be very proud of their season right now. But I mean, it would be amazing if they made the finals.
Keep going.
Keep going?
No, I mean them.
Yes.
Keep going.
I agree.
Yeah, it should be interesting. Again, we'll have predictions in next week, probably.
Yeah, it's coming. It's coming soon.
I didn't know that made that loud of a noise when I moved the mic. That's unfortunate. PSA break coming up. So we'll be back. Talk a little baseball. Some surprising teams leading the league in wins. If the season were to end today, we'll tell you who would be playing in the World Series. 99.5 WSOS Grand and the Royal Television Network. It's the John and Joe Sports Show. We'll be right back.
This guy? Are you trying to start a wildfire?
You okay?
Sorry. Pastor Honey?
9 out of 10
Well,
wildfires
we weren't
are
talking.
caused by humans.
Only you can prevent wildfires.
哦，先生你好，歡迎光臨，等等先。誒，唔該晒。
Brandon.
You believe this guy? Are you trying to start a wildfire?
Sorry. Pastor Honey?
9 out of 10 wildfires are caused by humans.
Only you can prevent.
This is my friend Rob from Michigan.
What's up?
He's a teenager.
Yeah.
It's pretty cool.
Woo! Hey, you want to slow down there?
No.
Really? Oh, okay.
What are you doing?
We're shooting a viral video. Hold on, I want to see this. Hey, this is his last 5 minutes on Earth. A little something to Mom? Say something to Mom. How about, goodbye, Mom, sorry.
Hi, we're back on the John and Joe Sports Show, 99.5 WSR Scranton and the Royal Television Network. Hope you enjoyed that 10-second montage to give us time to get ready to come back. We did.
We did.
This show is just, we got to be ready.
We do.
The opening now.
We do. It's cool.
As Scar once said in Lion King, be prepared. It was in a better song than that. For those of you that remember Lion King, though, you remember exactly what I'm talking about. In the graveyard. Oh.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about.
We could be on the Broadway show for that.
Yep. Yeah, it was. Oh, the Lion King. Oh,
Such
gosh.
a good movie.
The only thing I think of is the father dying. Mufasa. It's so. Oh God, he saves Simba, and then he's climbing the wall, and you're like, yes, And then Scar is just there. And he's just like, bye.
Yeah, that was traumatizing.
Like, oh
as a
my
child.
gosh, I'm just like, ah.
And you're like, maybe he made it. No.
No. Just like, oh.
Yeah,
oh,
that
that's
was
such a
when
bad
I had
feeling.
to learn about death.
Right?
As a young child through Lion King. You know what used to always freak me out too, and he like appeared in the sky, but he was like freaky looking.
Yeah.
Like monstrous. He wasn't kind at all. He was stern and like angry. Like if you didn't, jeez, I wouldn't want that appearing. I'd be frightened. It used to scare me.
Yeah, yeah. I think we were actually.
Who
Yeah.
you are. Oh my God. No! Stop! You were so kind.
Like, yeah, we were actually talking about that. Like Disney movies, they always. It's like a family member always dies. Like a parent always dies. Like, are they trying to like subliminally make like children be able to deal with it in case it actually happens?
They might be, and there's
Like, I don't
always
know.
incredibly frightening moments in every
That's
Disney
true.
movie. Aladdin, Jafar turns into the evil genie with like the dark colors. You're just like, you're under your bed, like cowered in the corner. Snow White, that witch, like, you know, with the
Oh my gosh.
the random like changes the camera in the dark. Oh my God!
Yeah.
Every movie, there's just pain and sadness and scary.
I know. I know.
I don't want to be scared. It's a Disney movie.
Yeah. I don't get that. I don't get it, but.
But if you're
they
40
just
years
decide to
old and
do.
you're making movies too, I'd want to throw some random things in.
That's
Fox
true.
and the Hound, Sorrow.
Yeah. Yep.
All of them have some sort of
Sorrow.
Beauty and the Beast. Dark, rain, painful.
Yeah.
No happiness. Cinderella, that evil stepmother.
Mm-hmm.
The Yankees, the evil empire. So the Orioles haven't lost a baseball game yet. They're 4-0. Did you ever think we would say that? The Orioles are in first place.
Exciting.
You know who they play in the World Series? The Pittsburgh Pirates. Thank you, Wiz Khalifa, for your Black and Yellow song to get the Pirates pumped up for the 2011 baseball season.
Fantastic. Fantastic. Don't you just love, though, that ESPN is saying panic mode for certain teams? Like,
indeed.
Yeah. Let's take, for instance, you want to start with the Red Sox?
They're the only team left.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry. I do this thing you may have noticed throughout the show with my eyes where I might furrow them. You know? Like I'll be like, my apologies. It's one of the things I meant to change, that I furrow my eyebrows when I say like, and then they shot 18.8% from the field. My apologies. I'll be just one.
You don't want to do that anymore?
It's a pet peeve of one of my loyal listeners and watchers, my father.
Right.
Shout out to Dad.
Gotcha. Forgot about that. Okay. Right.
I think he's drawing now. This is like drawing time.
Drawing
Maybe he
time.
doesn't draw to our voices. Like, how boring is that?
Yeah.
Yeah, this is great motivation. Then those PSAs come on, the same ones, everything. Anyway, getting back. Yeah, that was one of the questions that they posed to John Barry, who knows more about baseball. No, he's an NBA analyst. Legs. That's not him.
Oh, God.
But why would you ask him? Because, of course, ESPN needs things to talk about. The Heat were off.
True.
You know, the Orioles weren't playing. UConn women's basketball wasn't playing. And they begged the question, what is the panic mode from 1 to 10 if you're a Boston Red Sox fan? Because Boston got swept by the Rangers in their first year of the season. Their pitching staff got destroyed.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody pitched terrible for them. Their top 3 starters got wrecked. Should they panic?
Here's what they should do. No, they shouldn't really panic. In my opinion.
I think they should do that.
Yeah, that would be good. That would probably turn the tide for them this season, I think.
That would be it.
Yeah, so.
My coach came into the clubhouse and did that. I'd win some games for him.
I agree. I think I'd do the same thing. It's just, it's just so funny to see that they really would do something like that. I mean, they have to do something. Whatever story comes up. I mean, if there's dead days, whatever. But just to say 0-3, is it panic time? There's 159 more games to play. Like that's a good amount, right? That's a lot.
Is
that a lot?
There's 162 total.
Yeah. Is that a lot?
It's a lot of games.
Can they recover?
I think so.
Okay.
I hope so.
Yeah.
They do this on it. There's times where I don't want to work for ESPN just because of the crap they focus on so much. The Heat, the Phillies, the Red Sox, Brett Favre, UConn basketball, the women's team, Gino Auriemma. Like, you just, how many times can you go the Barry Bonds trial, which isn't even as bad as the original steroids trial? Oh my God, every day.
Right.
Breaking news! McGuire ties shoe in courtroom. It's just like, okay, it's good to know this, but you're killing it into the ground.
Beating it to death.
Beating it to death.
Slashed 39 times in the back.
Beat like a good Samaritan on the side of the road.
Yep.
Who will you be to save that man who got beat? Will you be the good Samaritan?
Will you? I don't know.
I hope.
I hope so,
We
too.
need help, ESPN. Help. Be the good Samaritan. Stop telling us the same stories every night. We don't care.
I agree.
The wide world of sports is not 6 teams and 2 people.
Right. Right.
And they like talk. I'd be so sarcastic if I was an anchor. Well, here comes our Heat coverage. We're going to do that on our show. Just talk about those 6, 7 topics all show long. Deal with it.
It's just laughable, really. I mean, especially when you know they're just going out of their way. It's just not a big deal. I mean, when the Heat are playing the Lakers or whatever, you know, they made a big deal. And, you know, they beat the Lakers. They stopped their win streak in the second half of the season. So, like, okay, that can be covered. That I could see. When one of your lead stories on your website is Heat take down Nets behind whatever from some random player on the Heat, it's not. That's not notable. That's just putting the Heat on a pedestal when you can't. When you can't. Like, what did they do? Okay, they beat the Nets. They've been proving that they could beat mediocre and terrible teams all season long.
Go
you
to
don't have to hear it.
ESPN.com right now. They're actually the head story because we were on there before. They're the lead.
Yeah.
I don't know why. It's something about the Heat are the #1 story. Why? Yeah. Why?
I don't understand it. It's not. You don't want to hear that. You don't want to hear that every day. You don't want to know if the Heat beat the Nets or if the Heat beat the Wizards.
You want to know, but it should be the Heat beat the Wizards.
Right, exactly.
Move
yeah,
on.
It shouldn't be
you
like.
You can find something else. There's something else somewhere. Show us NASCAR highlights or hockey highlights. Show a save or a goal on a breakaway. Make it the #1 top 10 play.
Always.
Because the #1 top 10 play for ESPN will either be a LeBron James dunk, a Blake Griffin dunk, or a random hockey goal or save.
It's true.
Or a sick soccer goal.
Yeah.
Or what's deemed by them as sick. Okay. So, in conclusion, they do this every year as far as baseball goes, where they'll write off and put teams on high pedestals based on what they think they'll do. And that's how it's going to be. The Yankees haven't won the World Series on ESPN for like 6 years to start the season off. They were going to get 3rd place it was either last year or 2 years ago. The Blue Jays were going to win the division. Boston would be second. Yankees would be third. The Blue Jays. Come on now.
Right. They'll
There were
do that.
statistics up about if the season started, Buck Showalter took over the Orioles. Here was how the records of all the teams went, and the Orioles would have been in first place in the division because they had the best record since Buck Showalter took over. Where are you getting that from?
Yeah.
But the O's are 4-0. Should they panic? No.
Yeah, they should panic. We're winning.
Yeah.
Jeez.
What do we do? Do we celebrate after the game? I don't know. It's a long season. Now, if this were September and Texas just beat you in a series at the end of September and swept your 3 best pitchers, that might be cause for concern because you're probably going to see them in the playoffs if you make it. That's cause for concern. Not the first couple games of the year. I mean, obviously you want to get off to a good start, win at least 3 out of 4 if you play, but like, it's not the end of the world if you go 0-3, because then the statistics come out. A team hasn't won the World Series when they started 0-3 since 1996, when the Yankees did it. Oh no, let's not watch the rest of the season.
Yeah. I mean, just take it back to last year, and you brought this point up last year as we were getting into the thick of the end of the baseball season. How people talked about the Phillies all season long, and it was like, oh God, what's wrong with the Phillies? They're not the #1 team in the NL. Well, they were injured. And what did you say? They're fine. They just need to get healthy.
I remember getting under the desk. I panicked.
That's it? You panicked?
Yeah.
Oh, forget it. Someone said it. I don't know.
It was bad.
It's a long season.
And all the players know this. The Lakers went through it several times this season. Are you panicked?
Yeah.
No.
No.
Relax.
Not really. They're fine.
I mean, there's a certain point where you can't cross. You can't get too relaxed.
Right.
But you don't need to take every game like it's your last, especially this early in the year.
Right.
Gel with your team, get good runs, take series, just play good baseball and build up and improve until you're at a steady greatness when it actually counts.
I mean, people get swept all the time. It just so happens that it was the first 3 games of the season for the Red Sox. I mean, there's no... It happens, all right? But believe it or not, people lose 3 in a row. It happens. It happens to the best teams. It happens more often to the worst teams. But, like, it's...
Just ask the Pirates, who were turning the tables.
Have a winning record right now. I think better than the Cardinals. Oh, the Cardinals.
There's some people doing some stuff this season so far. Ian Kinsler, I think, is homered in his first 3 games for the Rangers. David Ortiz has 2 home runs after last year, I believe it was, where he went like 56 games or 56 at-bats. I don't know why I picked 56. But he went a long time before he even hit a home run.
Yeah.
Everybody's, oh, he's old. He's back now. I'm not in baseball mode yet, I have to say. I'm going to get back into NBA mode, and then I'll get into baseball mode in June, July. I'm not even going to look at the records. The only reason I did was for the show and because ESPN, of course, had to tell us. But you don't look at the records until at least August to be like, okay, now we can formulate opinions on how teams are doing.
Yeah. It's too early.
Because if you check the AL West standings, we're actually in first place. Us, the show, John Joe Sports Show. I feel as though eventually we'll move back down, but for now, we're number 1.
We're up. Should teams panic?
No.
All right.
They should play better.
True.
But you look at the Red Sox, they're basically an entirely different team than last season. They acquired at least 4 new players to their starting lineup. Yep. They need some time to get used to the American League for some guys and to get used to playing as a Red Sox.
Yep.
playing in different places in the lineup, hitting behind different guys, having different situations. It takes time. I mean, spring training is great, but you don't play the whole game. You know, you
Right.
play an inning, you pinch hit, you sign an autograph, you go home. Or in Chase Utley's case, you don't sign any autographs because you hate people. So there's that. I don't think they need to panic at all. It's April 4th.
Exactly. Right. It's not even end of April or anything. I mean, yeah, like the Red Sox have new players. They have Adrian Gonzalez. They have Carl Crawford. They have some new players, so they just have to adjust.
Yankees are playing well.
They'll be fine. The Yankees are playing well, actually. The Cardinals aren't playing well. You know who the Cardinals have?
Pujols.
They have Albert Pujols. Yes.
What is he? I think he has 2 hits this year.
Yeah, a home run, one
Yeah.
of them, but 2 hits. Yeah. You know who the Cardinals have? Lance Berkman.
They
in the
do. I saw
outfield.
that on a highlight.
I was shocked. I
was
didn't
so
know that.
Happy to see him actually starting.
I couldn't believe it.
Because when he came to the Yankees, he wasn't going to start.
Right. Exactly.
Best thing about the Yankees is so far that what looks good has been their bullpen. Their starting pitching gets them 6 innings, and then they go Jabba or insert player here, Rafael Soriano and Mariano Rivera. And if they can do that the rest of the season pretty solidly, I mean, granted, once in a while, one of them's going to give up a run. But if they can build on that and get at least 6 strong innings out of their starters, which is all they're asking for, especially after starter number 3, because they don't have starting pitching. They just pick people from the crowd. They throw. That'll be good. Also, another thing is you'll notice watching Yankee games that no one is attending the games anymore. There was more people at the University of Scranton Championship Landmark Conference game than Yankee Stadium opening day. My mother's like, well, it's 1 o'clock on a weekday. Why would I? It's opening day. And they pan back, and there's no one in the seats behind in the first section. What do you want? At least fill out your stadium?
Yeah.
I mean, lower the prices enough so people go. No one is there, and it's sad. It really is sad because that place used to be packed to the gills in the old stadium. People can't afford it anymore, and they figure as fans, why would we go see them play in a pointless April game when we can save our money and go see them play in October like I did?
There you go.
Show's coming to a close. What do you got to leave? What's your final word?
Final word?
Or words, statement.
Crap, I don't know.
Crap, I don't know.
That's it. That's what I got. That's it. Go ahead.
That really is
No, that's it.
Mine is we were really kidding. Red Sox fans everywhere panic. Anyway, if you're listening to us on the radio, tune in tomorrow, Channel 21. If you have Comcast cable, at 9 o'clock, the John and Joe Sports Show will be on then. If you're watching us on TV, we'll be back next week on Tuesday, starting at 6 o'clock on 99.5 WSR Scranton. And then we'll be back again Wednesday at 9 o'clock on Channel 21, Comcast with the Royal Television Network. So you can catch our show twice if you really want to, whatever is easier for you. Those are going to be the times. Tuesday at 6 on WSR, Wednesday at 9 on Channel 21 for Comcast Cable, the Royal Television Network. We're the John and Joe Sports Show. Come back next week. We'll be waiting right here.